Hey, my name is Savannah. I am autistic and I have ADHD, and I'm working on a little painty craft as I talk to you today. This one is DIY Art Club. I almost forgot. DIY Art Club's paint by numbers, and they come with all these cute little brushes. Anyways, today it is Sunday, so I thought, why not get weird with it? And we will talk about autism and spirituality or religion. You might hear my cat or my dog in the background because they have a lot to say and they're kind of vocal, each of them. I myself will talk a little bit about my personal experience, but you're welcome to share yours in the comments below. As I mentioned, I'm autistic and I have ADHD, but I didn't know that until I was 27 and now I'm almost 30. And growing up, I definitely didn't know I was neurodivergent, but I was different, and I never, even within whatever setting I was, I never really fit in, but especially at church, I felt so uncomfortable. I was in a higher demand religion, or more strict religion, conservative household, and there were a lot of rules, and I did try to follow a lot of them, and I did listen to a lot of them closer than some of my siblings, but I also found myself feeling extremely judged. And I just also want to give a disclaimer that everybody has their own experience, and for some people, religion is something that has really helped them find peace and comfort, but everybody has a different unique experience. I'm not trying to speak for everybody, I can just speak for myself. Anyway, I found myself at church feeling extremely judged, and quite literally, like, the comments made to me made me feel bad about myself. It was often about the way that I looked, or how I needed to dress differently, and my body was always being policed one way or another. I didn't expect to talk about that today, but I think that wraps up with spirituality, because for me, in a higher demand religion that does not put women as equal, there is a bigger, like, self-hatred that happens. And as an autistic person, I was already self-critical, and then you add a lot of things that made me seem like the problem. I was bad, I was tempting, I was, impure, like, the purity culture kind of stuff too. And so for me, it just made me feel horrible in some ways. And I don't mean to focus on that because everybody has a different experience, but religion wasn't a safe space for me as a neurodivergent individual. And it's not always a safe space for people, especially whenever it's like high demand, conformity, rules, rigid expectations. Long fasting can be difficult. I myself am not religious now actively. I try to help people in the best way that I can and just be a good person, but I don't like the idea of doing service just because somebody is looking down on me and needs to see that it's being done. And being raised, service was used often. We had to do a lot of service work or volunteer work, from ripping weeds out of gardens to babysitting for free or whatever it might be. Service was always added, but it was for the Lord, not just because people need help and you want to help them. And your help was also taken advantage of. The people who helped and showed up a lot. And people would ask for help last minute, and it would just would put a strain on other people's lives. So they will take and take and take from families or individuals who do show up and are willing to give something. And I don't like that. I think I'm going kind of on a tangent here, but religion and autism are so intermixed in spirituality, because there's this whole other set of people that have incredibly great experiences, feel drawn and connected to religion in ways that are beyond words, and I'm not going to try to speak for them. But I've worked with clients who have very strict moral standards for themselves and for others, but often linked to the way that their family's religious expectations and cultural standards are. And so that can be difficult, because then you have people who might feel and they're autistic, that they've messed up or they're wrong when there's something that happened beyond their control too. Sometimes religion is very supportive. Sometimes it blames the victim, and we don't want to see that. That's really hard. The reason I bring that up, and maybe some trigger warnings if you don't want to hear about complex topics, but autistic individuals are more likely to experience trauma, abuse, bullying, domestic violence, other forms. And so we need to be able to have people that are supportive and not have this just stick it out, you'll be stronger for this, you can handle any battle, just keep putting yourself in unsafe situations for the sake of maintaining religion. I don't know, there's just some things that can go sideways. I guess a specific example I'm speaking of is if you're assaulted by somebody, you should not be expected to be going to that same space or see that person repeatedly every week. Whether they're asked to leave or not, or whoever leadership wants to handle that is their opinion, but you're not a bad person for not going back to somewhere that isn't safe for you. Your brain, your mental capacity only has so much to give. And so since we're higher risk for going through difficult things, we also have to be mindful of who we're around. So whether it is religion or maybe spirituality, and we could talk way bigger, like cults or mindfulness coaching, like NLP coaches, things like this, that are trying to rewire people's brains to beat your trauma, beat your autism, break through it, overcome it, never burn out again, make 6 figures. These kind of like brainwashing techniques can make people feel really good about themselves and might have short-term success, but also come at a really high cost, and people lose thousands of dollars. Not $100, not $500, but thousands of dollars more than often, or might take out credit cards to make these payments, or be on payment plans for over a year trying to pay for this mindfulness support or speakers workshop. Let's not forget some of the bigger cult leaders who had movements where they did public speaking, and public speaking being very part of the entrepreneurship journey, when it's just not true. You can be neurodivergent and have a fantastic business without needing to be a public speaker. And while there is amazing support from some coaches, there's also some really sketch stuff that's out there. And let's not forget that there are literally modern day cults that exist, and extreme religions that put people into servitude and dangerous situations. So religion and autism are really, really complicated. Sometimes it's a perfect fit, the strict, schedules and order and laws and God or other gods and beliefs are supportive and helpful in creating guidance and keeping things straightforward and giving a book of reference. We all wish there was a book of rules we could follow, but there is no perfect book. At least that's my opinion. Everybody is welcome to their own. And then there's this other side of people who are autistic and fall into places that are very high demand, and we just listen and obey and keep trying to do what we're supposed to do, and all it does is takes from us and depletes us until we feel like we can't function anymore at all, and we break or burn out in intense ways, experience skill regression. For me, I left the structured religion when I was 18. Really, I didn't attend very much, but my family is still associated, and that's totally fine. Everybody can do what they need to do, but that's not something that I do because I don't feel comfortable there. I don't feel supported there, and I don't like to talk to that many people, and it's a very, what's the word for it? Social niceties are aplenty. It's a lot of those surface conversations of people you're never going to see again, but I don't really have the energy, and I really hate those like little type of interactions that like, you know me, but I don't really know you, and you don't really know me anymore. So what do we have to say? And that's just the autism in me. And also, I don't want the judgments about how I look. And weirdly, in this community, there's a lot of beauty standards and just expectations that I don't like to be put on me. And I feel a lot more at ease whenever I am alone, but also just like with my husband and my friends and the people who just accept me the way that I am. And for me, religion was a big part of masking. I had to mask really hard. It's kind of like being a professional, but all the time I had to be kind, be pure, be beautiful, be peaceful, be polite, always hold your tongue, never say too much, and I always have too much to say. So for me, spirituality is like connecting with the earth and nature and the natural cycles of everything around us, and being outside of every day if I can. And even that just like natural rhythm of trusting myself and taking things slower and not being so focused on productivity, and allowed to be a person, because in the way I was raised, all I wanted to ever be was a mom. And I was never really told the importance of being a human first, being me, having interests, painting little things, which, by the way, I only did this tiny little glass you can't see because it's white. But I enjoy painting, and that's something that really helps me relax. And other things that I might do often involve just getting outside a little bit, because I don't know what it is, but the air out there is different, and it really does help me feel more regulated and breathe a little bit easier. And I really struggle to exercise, so at least if I get outside, then it makes it easier for me to be moving in some way. But spirituality is unique to whoever you are, and you're welcome to practice whatever religion helps you feel good, but make sure that it's something that you choose and that doesn't put you in a position where you are completely reliant on somebody else's choices for you. Everybody should have autonomy. I am a big believer in autonomy for everybody. Have a good day. If you want, maybe hit like or subscribe so you can see what's next, and I'll do better about trying to upload more regular videos. I'm busy, what can I say? As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm autistic and I have ADHD, and after learning those things, I did something crazy. I went back to school, and so I'm in grad school, I'm getting my master's degree, and I'm also coaching autistic adults as they navigate various challenges, or maybe, start their own businesses or grow their own businesses. So it's been really freaking busy, but incredible and so fun. And if you just want to see me and maybe connect or have some general questions of your own, you can always join the monthly call for autistic adults. This is where I've talked for too long. The monthly call. On the 1st, every month at 7 p.m. Eastern, we meet together for an hour, and there's a general discussion, but we'll try to make time for as many question answers as we can just from attendees. Have a great day. If you want to register, just hit the email below. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.